Welcome to another episode of Pipe Jedi Podcast, and today we're reading another website. It's called thepipecompany.co.uk/pipe-platform. If you wanna, look at any graphs that are in there that we're gonna be talking about, you should. Even if you don't wanna look at the graphs, you should still check it out. And we are going to be talking about what is called Lab to IPO. That is the header that we have. We're not going to talk about the tabs in the header, but we'll talk generally about what it means to go from lab to IPO, as well as the website itself. It's also a website, lab to IPO, a separate website. And that's what we are talking about. It's the Pipe platform. Pipe stands for pre-IPO exchange. Before we get into it, we need to define some acronyms here. Uh, PIPE is the acronym for pre-IPO exchange. IPO, in turn, means initial public offering. Not to bore you with details, but it essentially means when you try to commercialize your project, you are gonna sell shares of your company. That's essentially that process that you're trying to get some investment in exchange for equity. And of course, lab to IPO pathway. Lab to IPO referring to lab from university lab to IPO on the business. Uh, I've prepared a few fun facts with Sleazy today. Did you know? Yeah, Connor, did you know that? Excuse me, Noodle. Did you know that universities? There are a lot of smart people in there.
What?
Yeah, I was shocked. Like it buggers common sense. I saw it a stat once, and the stat said smart people in universities they're correlated.
No, Jesus.
Yeah, it's almost like in universities only smart people can be there. Isn't that amazing?
That's insane. It
I
just
want,
doesn't check out.
yeah, I wonder if it's because they select smart people or select people or smart people just spawn there. Hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, they just grow them somewhere.
Yeah, but as they say, people don't grow on trees.
Mm.
Uh, or maybe that's what you would say when a child asks where children come from. But and another fun fact with Sleazy, they are mostly they are mostly book smart people rather than street smart people. Is that is that also an amazing fact?
And
It's
that. I mean, I guess considering most universities are inside, you'd imagine they wouldn't be exactly street smarts, considering they're learning indoors. I don't know where I'm going with this. I don't,
well, they do learn indoors, I guess. They don't
Hmm?
learn like on the street,
Yeah,
except for maybe very few like field operations. The one time they actually go out and touch grass. And yeah, so in order to compensate for the not having street smarts in a usual university lab, they need what's called a TTO, aka Technology Transfer Office. I would not say that it's a particularly good name, but it essentially means that if you want to commercialize your project rather than just I don't know have fun with it, because you found that this IP, aka intellectual property, is fun to invent, you actually need to do something useful with it. A lot of the times, actually, what is invented by one, let's say, mathematician, is discovered like 300 years later for a smartphone, and they're like, "Oh man, holy moly, this is useful! I can use it to revolutionize a smartphone." I guess I don't have to pay any royalties to the guy because, well, he's dead since
Mm.
many years ago. But yeah, that's why TTOs, Technology Transfer Office, aka the thing that brings your theory into practice, is very important.
Exactly.
So that's a little bit of an introduction out of the way for our acronyms. We are going to read the page and explain what it is all about. Pipe platform and lab to IPO pathway are designed specifically for universities, TTOs, and commercial teams. There's standard tools, processes, and methods. So we need a certain methodology to actually be able to accomplish our tasks. They support effective, consistent decision making and reporting. It's kind of more buzzwords, but essentially means more methodologies. They are easy to use, low cost, and effective. Yeah, so For the users, those things are important, and low cost for the university teams that obviously have little funding as a general rule. We have 5 steps here. They are disclose and validate, 2 evaluate, 3 launch, 4 fund, and 5 list. They are in for aspects such as technology, marketing and sales, financial and legal. Did you know that we actually have awesome lawyers over at Pipe Company? Excuse me, am I the only one who is going to say the joke?
Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, we do have awesome lawyers. We do.
Yeah,
They're
okay.
very cool. We yet to meet them. Absolutely. So, disclose and validate. Obviously, the first thing you're going to need to do is user registration. A new user can easily join us at no cost, and then they can register as a researcher, academic, associate, investor, or observer. This is the first step onto the Pipe platform and the start of the lab to IPO pathway, we call it. And then,
I would like to just observe and get paid for it.
exactly, yes,
I'm good at observing.
you're good at observing. You're good at just watching, just so they're
Yes,
just like,
and judge.
yeah, so watching and judging, just thumbs down, just no, like in
Yeah,
Gladiator. But
yeah. Obviously, we're joking. I'm sure an observer role has more to do than to just stand there. But yeah,
yeah,
join. Please continue.
so, okay, okay. And then you'll get to the user dashboard. So once you've joined and you become a registered user, you can disclose and validate a project, join others in validating projects to form disclosure teams, and engage in the pipe lab to IPO pathway process. And then the final step is user reporting. So the project owners receive a report detailing the project's viability based on empirical input from experts and investors and those who wish to engage in moving the project forward, as well as IP/slash conflict status and commercial rationale.
And if you actually go into the link, you can find in the description our link tree, the pipecompany.co.uk's dash pipe slash pipe dash platform. You can see that the reporting is pretty extensive. That's something that you would give to a lawyer and never bother with again. We have lawyers.
We have lawyers.
Yes, we do. And the next section is evaluate, launch, and fund. And that has sort of graphs this time. The graph that you can see if you go into the vibecoin.uk, and I already said it. So the first one is evaluate. Once a project has been successfully disclosed and validated, it progresses to formal evaluation. Formal evaluation, not informal, but formal evaluation. The one with suits and ties. This evaluation stage takes the project up to TRL4 and includes the pipe lab to IPO pathways, elements of solution readiness for market, aka SRM, talking to projects to SRM3, proposition readiness for investment, PRI1, and business operational readiness, BOR1. It kind of reminds me of my chemistry lessons, borium. I would make I think that's what it was called. I would say I'm also borium. Not on this podcast, but in class, just to make sure. Next one is
That was
launch.
so bad.
Did you just yawn in in regards to my borium joke?
Most times, yeah. I just like a long. Every time you speak, and it's like one of your jokes, I just like a really long sigh, just like, oh.
Hmm. That's the best reaction ever. Like you don't expect your audience to laugh. You expect your audience to cringe.
Hmm.
Then there's launch. Following the formal evaluation stage, the project can now be considered for a formal launch. A formal launch. This stage moves the project to TRL6, SRM6, PRI6, and BOR6, 4, excuse me, BOR4 this time, and formulates the proposed management team, structure, financial, technical, and operational roadmaps. The project is well evolved, with clear plans and direction of travel and an evolving management and support team. That was a mouthful, and I got one more mouthful to do. Then there's funding. Yay, money. This is the final stage and moves the project to more acronyms: SRM7, PRI 9, and BOR 9. The TRL level remains at TRL 6, as the further development of TRL cannot be achieved. TRL 6 is the maximum. It cannot be achieved further without a commercial plan and investment. At this stage, a full business plan, including all financials, management team, and key goals are clearly understood, and the level, timing, and type of investment required is documented. The project is now ready to secure its investment. And all of that process is to go from evaluation to funding, from entering to getting money. And the next one, maintain security at all times.
So obviously, maintaining security at all times is very important. So let's say like an idea comes
You wouldn't want to be
onto
insecure.
yeah, you wouldn't want an insecure idea. That
Mhm.
suck. What? So let's say obviously an idea or innovation comes through on the platform. Um, does not disclose the inventive step. Instead, the IP is moved to a digital vault and protected within a dynamic non-fungible token, also known as an NFT. This allows for fast. What's that word? Facsimile?
Facsimile?
Facsimile.
I don't know.
Safe facsimile of the underlying IP to be created that can be reviewed at arm's length. In the same way that due diligence is carried out in M&A processes, this secures the IP for future pattern and it allows the IP to evolve commercially at the same time. This means that the TTO or commercial team does not need to rush to protect IP and or patent before understanding the commercial value of preventing the researcher slash academic from publishing within a reasonable time frame. And activities can instead progress down both blue and green paths as shown here. So we've got a couple graphs. Um, so you've got both routes, with one route going research team and then it will go to them doing a draft paper, then a peer review, then a decision, and then published the paper, and they'll get ranking points for university and slash all funding. Or you research team to the TTO pathway, then commercial potential, positive assessment, decision, and then a commercial agreement.
Yeah. And while I will not pretend to understand how this whole legal thing with IPs and the technology thing works, um, it is certainly a complicated process, and to be able to be flexible in regards to how the legal and the IP interact with the disclosure process is actually a big thing. The next section is associates, supported by pipe associates who are experts in specific technical fields, business and finance. Associates is one of those things that well, affiliates is one of those things we talk about in our commercials, but pipe associates have domain, technical, business, and finance experience and skills relevant to the project's core requirements and provide their time and expertise through the pipe platform to help define and deliver the project's overall success. Associates can work with more than one project, obviously, build a portfolio career. It's good to for any further job prospects, and support our early stage academic teams to deliver. Pipe associates are, and there's a list: certified, security cleared, and under NDA, highly experienced and committed, able to join your team in senior roles, awarded by Pipe through equity, rewarded by Pipe through equity, provide empirical evidence and guidance, and trusted. The last word, the very important word. And just to give a few examples of some of the projects that have come through, at least to the initial stage, and that we've published their initial names for it. The first one is Metamaterials Manufacturer. By the way, this is at launchpad.thepipegdal.io. And then you can find we have four, five, six, seven, eight projects currently published. First one is Metamaterials Manufacturer, Biomanufacturing Electromagnetic Materials, aka EM, and Scale Up Process. So, to describe the image that I see here, it looks like, when you see microchips being a commercial where they show all the small parts in microchips, like layer by layer. That kind of looks like that. Also, it's probably maybe it's a solar panel, but yeah, We don't know too many details about it, but the description says bend light with DNA. You can use your DNA to bend light. Well, not really, but that's what I'm reading. At least that's the thumbnail. Metamaterials unlock nanotech possibilities. Nanotech, I'm imagining those nanobots that move like a swarm for diverse fields like defense, construction, and green energy. So this thing actually looks like a solar panel to me. So green energy is obvious. Construction, yeah, because it's solar panel, and defense. That's I would have loved to read more about how it would be relevant to defense. I guess the statement describes the manufacturing of electromagnetic materials using DNA origami scaffolds. I've done a few origami in my time, back when I was like 12, as a school project. These scaffolds are combined with metals to create specific shapes that can generate electromagnetic responses. Electromagnetic responses, yes, yes, I know that word. The technology allows for the production of artificial materials with tailored physical properties, which can control, manipulate transmission, reflection, and absorption of light. So, yeah, not gonna read any further, but yeah, it has to do everything with light, and you can use it even for defending your country. I guess that's what meant by defense. But yeah,
Yeah.
next one is sizing.
So, sizing, it's a sensor device that allows the detection of seismic waves through a wide range of frequencies capable of communicating data signals in real time. So it's essentially, as described here, an earthquake whisperer. Sorry,
Earthquake.
I'm starving. Uh,
It's when people throw you in the mud and then start caking you with earth.
did that happen to you a lot?
Uh, no, but I'm imagining it, and I think that would have been fun,
Mm.
so long as it's mutual.
Oh yeah, it's like, yeah, don't worry, lads. I'll just get on the floor and let you kick mud at me. Um, that's the thing. So it's
Yeah,
a
earthquake whisperer.
I'm not sure, materials and UPM. So they've collaborated to create a sensor device that can detect various types of seismic waves and transmit data signals in real time. So the device has a unique geometric feature that enables it to detect and differentiate seismic waves in all three spatial dimensions, which is very cool. Covering larger frequency intervals than existing devices, it can measure physical properties of seismic waves, including velocity, acceleration, strength, displacement, and frequency, allowing for a comprehensive characterization. The device is made from a variety of materials in suit different applications such as high heat and flame resistance for volcanoes, high pressure and corrosion resistance for underwater environments, and high humidity environments. Additionally, the device functions as a short range wireless transmitter for real time data communication. It's very cool.
Yeah, there have been a lot of those things in my geography classes. There's trying to detect flooding, trying to detect the weather, and we know how well they are at detecting the weather.
Mm,
Might as well flip a coin.
yeah.
Maybe this time that would actually be useful
Yeah,
for
well, I
once.
think especially now, obviously, because there's all sorts of weather. Well, look specifically, a huge hurricane in America. There's going to be a hurricane in the UK where I am soon.
Yeah,
Um,
fun fact: if you detect the seismic waves, you can also predict like tsunamis and even hurricanes because the earthquake doesn't only happen on land; it also happens in the ocean,
mm,
and that's what actually triggers a lot of those disasters.
mm.
Yeah, the next one is a microfluidic device to investigate the effect of compressive stresses on non-adherent cells. Okay, there's a better description for it: a tiny gym for blood stem cells. And I'm just imagining like I once saw an anime where your whole body became like this world where the stem cells are the characters.
Hmm.
Well, blood cells are the characters rather. Not only blood cells, but cells in general. And I'm just imagining them having like a gym inside the body. Although I guess the gym is it's externally funded this time. This device tests the strength and function, aiding better therapies and research. Physical therapies, I would assume. Although I guess there are other therapies too related to cells and stuff. The invention is a microfluidic device. Microfluidic. I would never think of a fluid as microfluid. I guess it's like it's a like a micro drop. Like there are drops of fluid and there are micro drops of fluid or something that can measure compressive stresses on blood stem and progenitor cells and assess their functional capacity. The device can be used to improve protocols for expanding blood stem cells outside of the body. Expanding blood stem cells outside of the body. That's quite a thing to do. It is also adaptable for use with other non-adherent cells. If only I knew what non-adherent cells actually mean. The device captures and immobilizes a heterogeneous cell population, applies mechanical stress through shear rate and controlled compression, and allows for downstream biological assays and yeah, so on. Let's move on to the next one before I completely make a fool of myself.
This one I know actually a little bit about because I remember talking about this when it was coming on. So it's basically uh, for electric cars, boosting system enhances driving range up to by 70%. So the eThermal bank, it's a innovative energy solution that utilizes electricity for a high density theomechanical system, generating heat and cooling through reversible chemical shit. Yeah, no clue. I'd say that. It offers versatile storage options and can be conveniently charged using existing EV battery infrastructure. So basically, it's just a much better battery for electric cars. It's much more efficient, can boost driving range up by 70%, which is already a lot. It's just, yeah, it could improve electric cars and their life dramatically.
Yeah, fun fact: it's not only electric vehicles. It can also be applied to buildings to
Of
make better
course.
insulation.
Yes.
Uh, like uh, like in Spain, like one of the common ways to insulate a building is to have double window like layer. So there's a vacuum in between the two layers of glass. That's one of the ways to actually make it better. I don't use it in Spain,
Mhm.
but like in colder countries, I don't know if in UK, but like in colder countries, it's very common. Like you can't really live without it. Otherwise, you lose too much heat. The next is the tooth fairy. Stem cells and regrowing your child's teeth. And it's not only the teeth. The statement outlines the significant potential of dental stem cells in regenerative medicine within the next 10 15 years. So you take your milk tooth and or maybe more than one, and you store it and use it for later. The stem cell banking market is projected to grow substantially, with the deciduous deciduous teeth, milk teeth, being a promising source of stem cells due to ease of collection and low risk of rejection. Yeah, low risk of rejection because it's technically came from your body. So Tooth for Life plans to derive revenue through subscription payments and from customers for processing, storage, and treatment release fees. Additionally, the company aims to generate income from selling surplus stem cells to the research and pharmaceutical sectors. So I think everyone is aware that whenever you like swab your cheek for the ancestry test, they actually keep it, and don't know what they do with it, but I think it's common knowledge that whatever you donate, they actually can keep it. So do keep it in mind. With donors receiving royalties. So in this case, the donors actually do receive part of the income. The use of stem cells in personalized medicine could lead to long-term cost savings for healthcare systems by optimizing treatments and improving outcomes for chronic diseases. It does apply to something like a spine because it's also a bone. So that is one of the most common chronic diseases. The availability of surplus high quality stem cells from Tooth for Life offers researchers the opportunity to develop better drugs and treatments.
So this is an application of metabolics to complex congenital heart disease. It's revolutionizing pediatric and rural heart disease care through microsampling and metabolics. So basically, what they do it's a research project focused on using refining metabolics methodologies for complex congenital heart disease, specifically perioperative investigation of Fontan disease. I'm not too sure if I'm saying that right. The team is collaborating with clinicians and incentivists to plan sample collections and is exploring the use of commercially available blood microsampling devices to reduce patient burden. The goal is to unlock metabolic pathway information to facilitate earlier medical intervention. The work stands out due to multidisciplinary team of analysts, chemists, chemotricians, and clinicians, as well as the focus of improving patient experience, enhancing accessibility to healthcare, enabling earlier detection and invention, and improving monitoring and managing heart conditions.
Yeah, you sound like someone who knows what he is doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I believe the keyword here is what's it? Rural heart disease care, because in many of those cases they are quite far away to the nearest hospital. Like they would have to like go to town or somewhere.
Mm,
So yeah, that's actually very important because they don't have like the ambulance 5 minutes away from them in case something happens.
mm,
Next one is cybersecurity threat detection in application activity. The statement discusses the development of unsupervised multi-model called NetSpecA Sentinel for identifying threats hidden within benign applications activity. So, just a little bit of an introduction. I know a little bit of cybersecurity, not too much. The most common hacks happen in either two methods. One is human factor, so you are trying to convince someone to hand over his password, or two, you're not trying to crack the code or the security layer. What you're trying to do instead is do a DDoS, which is like when you spam the network and stop the server from working from too much spam, and you accomplish that with what's called a botnet. So you have a lot of many different computers who start spamming all at once, and that's what it refers to: identifying threats within benign applications activities. Benign application activities, as in when you download an application, it doesn't harm you, but it recruits your PC in order to attack someone else. Utilizing continuous time hidden Markov model and time series decomposition to uncover hidden patterns in a system network logs, and NS can effectively, and I think you get the idea. There are a lot of words here that mean some protocols and logs and types of attacks, and yeah. And we have a last one.
yes. So we have a dose on demand, which is a automated seizure prediction and prevention. Um, it's essentially a device that's being developed that utilizes nanosensor technology to detect heart rate variability, or also known as HRV, as a biomarker for epileptic seizures. This device consists of two components: one to detect HRV and send a signal, and the other to release an anti-epileptic drug to prevent seizures before they occur. The device includes a HRV sensitive hydrogel microneedle patch with a loading dose of the drug for immediate release and electro-responsive nanoparticles for controlled release. The aim is to improve seizure control and enhance the quality of life for individuals with epilepsy by providing proactive and automated intervention. This project integrates various disciplines such as health science, engineering, artificial intelligence, and material sciences to optimize patient care.
Yes, so just to, I guess, reiterate, it's automated seizure prediction and prevention device. I don't know how it would prevent it, but I guess we can find out. Uh, you can, by the way, come and check out all of those projects over at launchpad.the5gnet.io and read for yourself. If you dig around a little bit more and go to lab2ipo.com, you can even maybe potentially find out more about those by signing an NDA and potentially maybe even get involved with some of them. And that will be it for this episode. Yay! We're already at half hour, and we'll see
Hey,
you next time.
we'll see you next time, everyone. Enjoy.